Hey guys, Jose here with another tutorial. So in this video, what I want to show you is how to leverage AOVs in Arnold to extract lighting information. So a very common workflow is to do one giant render and extract as many passes, as much information into individual passes as possible, so you have ultimate control and comp after a render is complete. One of those things you can extract is actually lighting data or lighting information. So this is really good if you want to relight your scene, or the art director comes back and says, you know what, let's make that light a little dimmer, or that light a little brighter, or that light a little bluer, or a little redder, or whatever, right? So any of these changes would normally require a re-render, but if you kind of work with passes and AOVs and light AOVs at the start of the render, then you don't have to actually re-render. You can do all of those changes in post or in comp. So let's see how that works. So I'm going to open up my light lister so that I can select very quickly one of my lights. I have a lot of lights in this scene, but they're all instances, or most are instances. So there's really only 4 unique lights, and so I'm going to do this to only 4 times, this specific technique. So when you select a light and you go to the command panel, you'll notice that at the bottom of the light UI, there's an AOV section. So the idea with this is you're going to give it a unique tag. In this case here, this is my interior lights. So we're going to call this tag interior. Then we're going to go to the render settings dialog and go to our AOVs tab and select the correct file format that we want. We're going to add in here another beauty pass. So an RGBA is a beauty pass in Arnold. We're going to grab our RGBA, add it to the list. And all we need to do is under the AOV name, we need to add an underscore and that unique tag that we added to the light. So this will create an AOV or a render pass of just that lighting information. So underscore interior. And then of course the idea is that I would do this to all the other lights in my scene. In my case, like I said, I have a lot of instances, so I only have to do this 4 times. And when you render this out, notice that if I cycle through my drop down here, I have my RGBA, which is my beauty, but then I can visualize all the other lighting passes that I have, right? So our interiors, our lampposts, our torch, and our IES lights. So let's take a look at how we can use these. All right, so this is obviously not meant to be a Photoshop tutorial, but here is a common sort of workflow for leveraging these passes. So you bring them into Photoshop, you stack them up, and once you set these layers to linear dodge, they basically overlay one on top of the other. This is how you overlay those different sources of lighting from the different passes. And then, of course, you could do all sorts of things in Photoshop, which is very common. Play with the opacity. You can add some color correction layers if you want to colorize these light sources, for example. All sorts of control, very flexible. And the idea with this, as I mentioned at the start, is really to avoid the need to re-render. So the more data that you output from your first initial render, the more control you have over in comp. Thanks for watching.